Good afternoon, this is Karen Shanong. I'm working with Coda Bears, and today we'll be talking about some of the main menu items that are related to business activity management and how they have changed between earlier versions of Epicor and Epicor 10. These are the main menu items that have to do with business activity management. Some of them have changed between the versions. We will go through individual slides about each of these: alert attachments, business activity manager, business activity query, and BAQ report designer and change logs. The next slide will show the locations in Epicor versions 9 and 10. One of the biggest differences is the menu item named business activity management no longer exists in Epicor 10, and the functions previously done in that menu item are now part of the business process management area. In addition, change logs have moved over to the business process management area also. So this slide shows these main menu areas in version 9 of Epicor and in version 10. In version 9 here, we show the business activity management menu item, and then the sub-menu items are broken up into the setup area in the first column, the general operations in the second column, and the report submenus in the third column. For version 10, we see that now these areas that were all in the business activity management menu item in version 9 are moved to the system management menu and either the business process management menu or the business activity query menu in version 10. And we can see that in the path at the top of each of these slides. The alert attachments, methods, directives, and data directives, which are BPMs, now are used instead of the BAMs, the business activity management in version 9. Instead, we are using the BPMs in version 10. In version 9, we use the business activity management. And then in the business activity queries menu item, there's a whole separate area for the business activity queries, designing business activity queries, and designing business activity query reports, and for exporting business activity queries. So this screen shows the differences between the alert attachments in Epicor 9 and the alert attachments in Epicor 10. In Epicor 9, using the alert attachment maintenance program, you can define what data attachments will be included with both your out-of-the-box and your global alerts that are custom. Saving your custom configuration file and selecting the Include Link checkbox highlighted here in the Business Activity Manager is how the alert attachments were used in Epicor 9. In Epicor 10, you'll again use the alert attachment maintenance program to define your template for a custom configuration file to include your attachments to generate and send with alerts or email notifications used in your business process management send email action in Epicor 10. So in the lower portion of the screen here, we show the BPM workflow designer, which includes a workflow item to send emails, and there's also a workflow item to send global alerts. We can see again in Epicor 10 that you would check the box for the link as highlighted here, and that is how you enable the attachment by selecting the Include Shortcut Link checkbox within the Send Email Actions email template setup. Data directives are what is used for standard or custom global alerts using the Send Email Action or Alert button. In addition, the alert attachments can be used with a data directive designed for other business processes other than alerting. The attachment, as mentioned, is enabled by clicking the box that's highlighted here. So here we show how all of these options were available in Epicor 9. Business Activity Manager included the 3 options for global alerts, change logs, and auto printing. They were all done under the Business Activity Manager menu. One table is selected to act on, and you defined actions and rules based on what was defined in Business Activity Manager. Now in Epicor 10, all 3 of these options have moved to Business Process Management. So the Business Process Management allows you to do email alerts and auto prints in the standard data directives and change logs in the in-transaction data directives. If you haven't seen it yet, here you can see the graphical user interface for the BPM Designer. The in-transaction data sets, where the change logs are done, are executed when the data transaction has processed through the Epicor base process and before it's applied to the database. Only one row at a time can be affected during in-transaction data directives execution. The standard data directives, where we have our alerts and auto printing, are executed after the post-processing BPM method directives and include all the accumulated changes, all the accumulated database changes passed through to them. Standard directives can work on multiple rows during execution. Here we show the graphical interface for business activity queries in Epicor 9 and Epicor 10. And we can see that in general, these business activity queries Designer has not changed very much in the graphical user interface. However, in Epicor 10, the Business Activity Query Designer has moved to its own menu area, as we mentioned previously. This is under the System Management area and a Business Activity Queries menu item. In addition, there are some minor changes in the graphical designer. Notice the number shown by the table in Epicor 10. This just indicates which table number you're working with, the first table you added to your query, etc. In addition to the graphical minor changes, you'll also notice that now in Epicor 10, the table listings all begin with either ERP or ICE. ERP are for the data tables and ICE are for system tables. So that will be a larger change in the difference between Epicor 9 and Epicor 10. So here we show the difference between the BAQ report designer in Epicor 9 and in Epicor 10. Similar to the BAQs themselves, the BAQ report designer has moved to its own menu area under System Management Business Activity Queries. Designer window and tabs have remained the same, other than adding options for the SSRS reports in the Actions menu and in the Detail tab. So here we can see the highlighted area in yellow is an additional line that was not available in Epicor 9 to define your BAQ report as using an SSRS report. And we also show in the Actions menu the Design SSRS report menu option is available from the Actions menu, where in Epicor 9 that was not yet an option in your Actions menu. The process of designing the report for SSRS reports is pretty similar to how it was designed for Crystal Report. You go ahead and test your report form and then you design your SSRS report. However, actually building the SSRS report is very different from how you built it in Crystal. I hope you found this presentation beneficial and you're getting excited about working in Epicor 10.